Well, it just it never gets old. It's Election Sunday and everything that goes with it, and you're a fool if you take it for granted. Because there's so many teams across the country where their season's over, and to be able to play in this tournament, it's as good as it gets. It's what we work for. It's what these guys dream of when they're growing up, and as coaches, it's what motivates you. So to be a 6 seed, I think speaks to the strength of the schedule that we played and the strength of the Big East. And to be, obviously Des Moines was closer, but being able to get to Denver, where a lot of our fans can get there by car if they need to, I think we'll have a great following. And obviously playing a really good team in North Carolina State that we'll learn more about tonight. But excited to be back in the tournament and ready to get to work.
Watch it. You know anything about them?
I know nothing. I know Kevin Keats, but you just, as a college basketball coach, you don't watch anybody else during the season. You watch yourself and you watch your next opponent. Felt a little lost, today because there was really nothing to do because I had everybody. I'd watched both of our games from New York, and you don't know who you're going to play. So today felt like kind of a wasted day sitting around with the TV on, but. Yeah, you just don't. As a college basketball coach, you watch very little college basketball outside of your job.
What's it mean to you guys to be in this position after the late December win? Felt like you guys had an extremely high uphill climb to get yourself in this spot. What's it mean to you to be in this position where essentially last night was probably a good night of sleep? You probably felt like you were in a good position.
Yeah, I feel like it had a lot to do with us just being able to handle a lot of adversity through the year. I feel like it showed the type of team we are. Like, even though we had a rough patch in the seat throughout the season, we were still able to come out in the best way that we could. And I feel like, it speaks volumes as us as a team and also for our coaching staff. So for us to be in the position that we are right now is still great for us to even be here this year. I mean, like Max said, you can't take these moments for granted because a lot of teams' seasons are over now. So,
yeah, just kind of piggybacking off what Trey said. We really just, like Coach Max said, stayed together throughout the trials we had throughout the season, and learned from those mistakes and those trials and got better because of it. And now we get to play, in the best tournament, that you dream of playing when you were little, and regardless of what seed you are, it doesn't really matter now. You just got to take it one game at a time. So,
Matt, can you take us through the process a little bit of trying to learn about a team when you are starting from scratch?
Well, my staff's over there right now. Gathering information. Obviously, there's a lot of services that we subscribe to where we can get some of the analytical information. But now it's just a matter of downloading games and watching games and maybe talking to some people that they've played. Just to get an idea. But we have till Friday, so we get 4 days of practice, which will be good. Frankly, it'll give us maybe tomorrow a day to kind of work on ourselves before we really turn our attention to them. There's a couple of the staff will really concentrate on North Carolina State, and then a couple of the guys will put their focus on Baylor and UC Santa Barbara to get ready for that. So it'll be a long night tonight for our coaching staff as we get ready for practice at 3:30 tomorrow.
Generally speaking, that's a great conference. They're going to be battle tested at least. Can you speak to the fact that they're a legit team? Yeah,
everybody in the NCAA tournament's a legit team. You have to be legit or you wouldn't be there. It's until I watch them a little bit, you don't really have a feel for is it a great matchup for us, and whether it is or isn't, we're playing the game, so we'll have to figure it out. It appears that they've really scored some points at times, and the ACC's been one of the better basketball conferences year in, year out, and that's not any different this year. Obviously, they had a great season in that league, or they wouldn't be in the tournament.
You mentioned kind of tomorrow you might focus on yourselves. Do you emphasize what went wrong in the Xavier game, or do you quickly move past it and just focus on other stuff?
I watched both games, the Villanova game and the Xavier game, and obviously we did some really, really good things against Villanova, and at times weren't ourselves against Xavier, but Xavier had something to do with that. So we'll show some film to the guys tomorrow of both games. things that when we were successful, why we were successful, and when we weren't. Here are the issues, and here's what we have to try to fix. So try to do the best job we can of preparing so it doesn't happen again.
Sure, you had a couple good days down in that Fort Worth last year. How do you think that experience might help you this time around? What did you get out of it? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it had a lot to do with the experience value. Like last year, I feel like I was going to a situation to where I had to grow up very quickly and kind of play a role that I wasn't really used to playing. And so coming into this year, how we have our full team, everybody's healthy, how we want it to be, I just feel like it's going to make everybody's job a lot more easier because we've all, me, Art, called Brendan for a game, most of the game, we were all there. We were all able to experience it. So for us to experience these things, and then, of course, Baylor was already there last year. So we have a team that's full of experience in March, and I feel like that's going to kind of help us in a lot of situations to where we won't get too high or too low because we know that things can go either way. So for us to have that experience is going to be big for us.
Baylor, you mentioned getting to play in the tournament for South Dakota State, but what does it mean to you to be able to do it again and now do it with Creighton?
Well, yeah, like Coach said, anytime you can play in this tournament, it's a blessing. And I came to Creighton to get in the tournament and play and win a lot with these guys, and I'm really excited to be able to have this experience with this group, and we're hoping to make some noise.
D-Rock, Lutz, TJ, all in the tournament. What's it mean to you to have guys that have been part of this process with you as staff members and now leading them?
Yeah, I'm really excited for all of them. Obviously, Steve Lutz has won it back-to-back years, and D-Rock's been there a few times, and TJ's done an incredible job at Iowa State. Daniel Robinson at Cleveland State just lost a one-point game in the championship game of his conference tournament. So, I follow those guys throughout the season. Those are the scores that you pull up at the end of each night and check out the box score and exchange text messages. But really proud of what those guys have done. When you're in a league like Coach Lutz and Coach DeVries, where you have to win the conference tournament to get in the NCAA tournament, now that's real pressure, and that takes high level preparation and focus. And obviously, those two guys have done a great job, and TJ's done an unbelievable job during his time at Iowa State, and he beat Baylor 3 times, so he'll probably get a phone call from me at some point.
Sure, obviously, you take a lot of the tough perimeter assignments, and I don't know if you watched it, but Creighton Smith is one of those electric guards, kind of fit that ball kind of. Obviously, it's too early to talk about the game plan. But what do you like about guarding shifty, crafty guys like that?
I just like the pressure of having to guard the best player. I feel like when you're facing somebody that's obviously was a draft prospect in him last year, you kind of look forward to a matchup like that just to see how well that you match up against each other, and you kind of want to take that and you kind of want to see if you can come out on top. And for me to have a matchup like that and being able to guard the best players throughout the tournament, it's going to be just fun. That's the only way that I can describe it. I can't wait to compete against those guys and hopefully get to talk back and forth a little bit and just compete.
And Mac, these two talk about it a bit, but obviously most teams lose 6 straight games, wouldn't even be here. As you reflect on the journey to get here, what do you think?
Frankly, it's probably one of the more rewarding things that's happened during my coaching career, because I haven't experienced it much. Now, we've had some teams that we were in a rebuild mode where we've lost some games, but never a team that was in the top 25 or top 10, and then you lose 6 in a row, and then you fight your way back to the top 25. That's really, really hard to do. I'm not sure it's happened before. But as I look back on it, just the process that we went through and our ability to kind of not lose our cool and just stick with each other during that time. You talk about it all the time in the locker room, how important it is, but until it punches you in the face, you don't know whether you have a team that's capable of that or not. And fortunately, even though we have 3 sophomores in this team in the starting lineup, we were able to stick together and grow together and fight together and eventually figure it out. And I'm really proud of them for that, because it was a lot of teams might have packed it in that situation, and we didn't. We kept on fighting, and we lost six in a row, and we're a 6 seed. That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Point you made earlier, Trey. Last year, all the injuries, all the up and down, people doubting you. come back against San Diego State, playing Kansas shorthanded, and this year the losing streak and kind of the doubt that you guys had to deal with internally, externally. Like, how battle tested do you feel as a group after all you've been through in 2 years?
Yeah, I feel like we're pretty battle worn. I feel like everybody on this team has in some way had to face adversity throughout the year. I feel like whether it was last year, R2 going out, or whether it was Kalkbrenner, I mean, I just feel like everybody in this program has had a moment where they've had to overcome something, and I feel like that as a whole brings us together even more, because I feel like we all have that one thing in common. And I mean, like we've said, for us to lose six in a row, and for us to be back at a point to where we can compete at the level that we've wanted to compete at all year, I mean, it's a blessing. But also, I feel like we're one of those teams that people have to watch out for, because we've taken losses, and we've kind of grown and gotten better over the course of the year. So.
Matt, 1 or 2 game scenario, how much does, I mean, those guys both talked about it, the experience piece that you guys have, how much does that matter in a short spurt weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it helps. The guys have been there before, and really our starting lineup, except for R2, has played an NCAA tournament. Sharif's played an NCAA tournament. Farabella's played an NCAA tournament. So, we have 6 guys that have done it. I think that helps. It helps the preparation. It helps kind of temper the emotions to make sure that the emotions are used to your favor, not to your detriment. So I think the fact that we've had guys that have been through it before, I think that helps in that regard. But it's still, the emotions run high, because it's pretty cool when you get into that city and you jump behind that police escort to go to the game. It's just there's something about it, and I've been blessed to do it a number of times, and it still feels the same, like it's the first time every time. And even though these guys have played in an NCAA tournament, they're gonna have those feelings again this year.
For Trey and Baylor, what are your guys' feelings like right now? Is there excitement? Is there a little nerves because it's hard to prepare when you've never played a team before? Just what is going through your guys' head? Yeah,
I'm just excited. It's a great time of year. Like Coach Mack said, when you're young, that you dream of playing in this tournament, and so I'm just looking forward to a great week of preparation, and then on Friday we'll get out there and do our best.
Yeah, for me, I feel like after I've already got a taste of what it feels like to be in a situation to play in front of a crazy crowd and be in this type of atmosphere, I feel like it's kind of now at a point like where I want more than I did last year. So I feel like the level of intensity, level of focus is going to be very different than it has all year, and I feel like it's what it's going to have to be. And I feel like each player has to come with a different type of mentality in terms of this week, in terms of us being more prepared and being more focused than we have all year if we want to turn the goals that we have this year into reality.
For Trey and Baylor, obviously you guys, between Maui and Texas, you guys have played teams out of conference, in these types of situations. I guess what's that process like prepping for them? All teams are different on short notice like that.
Yeah, I feel like it has a lot to do with us knowing tendencies and things like that. I feel like the coaching staff always comes with a great game plan, and for us, we have to just follow through with that to be able to, know what type of player that we're guarding, whether we have a team that we're playing that's switching or whatever it is, whatever the case is, we just have to know what the tendencies are of each team and the players, and I feel like that has a lot to do with our preparation. So for us to be playing a team we've never played before, I feel like I said, the preparation has to be, we have to be pinpointing everything that we're doing, because, now we can't make the same mistakes that we've been making the whole year, or we won't be able to play anymore.
He pretty much hit it on the nail there. The coaching staff does a great job with, coming up with a plan, and then, we obviously go over it a lot throughout our week of preparation, and then it just comes down to, executing that come game time.
Any additional questions?
Thank you. See you in Denver.